This series is brought to you by Lone Mountain Land Company, First Security Bank, and the Big Sky Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening. I'm Joe O'Connor with EBS newspaper. 1 year ago today, we hosted the first Big Sky virtual town hall in response to a blinding fast news cycle that ramped up even further when the pandemic hit. The Big Sky community needed information, and this was one way we brought the news to you. Yesterday, we spoke with Gallatin County Health Officer Matt Kelly about the health department's wild last year. In this, our second installment of the Town Hall series, I'm joined by another distinguished panelist and one whose world was also turned upside down at this time last year. Taylor Middleton is the president and COO of Big Sky Resort. Taylor, welcome.
Good to be here again, Joe. A lot's changed in a year, hasn't it?
It certainly has. It's been quite an unbelievable year. And just looking back, at the work we've done, at the work Big Sky Resort's done, at the work this community has accomplished, it's really quite amazing. I want to put us back, almost a year ago. Last year around this time, you had a 3 a.m. phone call with the Boyne senior management team. The next day, March 15th, 2020, you and I had an interview, and I remember it vividly. It was a Sunday. I wonder if you could tell us a little about that day.
Yeah, it was kind of shocking, right? It was something that nobody had ever imagined that we could do, that we would do, that we would need to do, that would happen, which was the closing of Big Sky Resort right in the middle of the biggest period of the winter season and great snow conditions, right? And we saw something coming with COVID, but we didn't see that coming. Mm-hmm. And as many in this audience remember, there was the outbreak in Ischgl, Austria, that really flagged this as being a big problem, specifically for ski because of the social nature and the congregation of ski. And then when that conversation came to the shores of the U.S. Very quickly, we were first trying to figure out how we could operate successfully, but then it quickly evolved into a discussion of, we don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know, you don't know, the medical community didn't know, the industry didn't know, and America played it safe, and the ski industry was one of the leaders in the industry. Mm-hmm. Our community was a leader in the industry, but it's kind of easy to look back with all we know now, but on that day, we knew that it would be a devastating impact on our community and on the lives of so many people. Mm-hmm. And that was a hard decision and a hard day.
An impossible decision. I mean, I couldn't really fathom it. And, I've been here 8 years. You've been here quite a bit longer and running the resort, and, it's really hard to even fathom looking back that you'd be faced with a decision like that. But I was going to ask you, what has surprised you the most over this past year?
Mm-hmm. Wow, what has surprised me the most, how quickly it devolved, how quickly we went to a total shutdown, not only in our community, but eventually the industry and eventually the nation, right? Mm-hmm. And surprising how it was so contentious of how the disease got politicized. That was shocking. Mm-hmm. The disappointing response in the United States that's had more fatalities, COVID related, than any other nation in the world. Mm-hmm. That's really surprising. It doesn't surprise me, the resilience, because There's a lot of resilience. It doesn't surprise me how many people work so hard to get to the other side. And it doesn't surprise me how hard our community, from wait staff to water and sewer operators to bus drivers to lift operators, it does not surprise me how hard ski patrollers, newspapers have worked to make it work in our community. As you know, we put out early on, our goal was to get open and stay open.
Yep.
And our community did it. That's not a surprise because we've seen our community accomplish incredible things. That wasn't surprising, but I'm sure glad we did it.
Absolutely. Really, from my perspective as well, I think that was one of the most incredible things to witness was everyone really in this community played a role and really played a part in making sure that we're getting open and staying open as a ski resort, as a restaurant, as a newspaper, as a gas station. Everyone really, I think, stepped up in that way.
And don't take that for granted either, because everything that you just described, from the resort tax group to the hospital group to the testing group, you just couldn't name them all because it was everybody, right?
It was.
That worked so hard. But that did not happen in certain places in the world, like Europe. Europe was a disaster, still is a disaster all winter. The ski industry, by and large, did not open. Certain parts of Canada, Eastern Canada, ski resorts never got open. Western Canada, it was very much locked down. Wow. The USA ski industry has done better than any other ski industry in the world, I would propose. And Boyne and Stephen Kircher and many of the Boyne team participated in industry, National Ski Area Association protocol development. We also did it in our hotel industry groups. And the industry got it right and got authority from legislators and regulators to allow it. And if it hadn't worked, we were prepared to shut down again, Joe. Yeah. I can't tell you how serious, I think everybody learned how serious we were in the industry was when we shut down on March 15th, 2020.
Yeah.
We were prepared to shut down again, but we didn't think we would have to if we got the protocols right.
Yeah.
And we did, and the guests, by and large, and the seasons pass holders, by and large, and the communities, by and large, really bought into it. And that's why we've made it to March the 17th, 2021. And I'll tell you, we're not letting our guards down. I got my first vaccination. I'm in the 1B plus. I got my first vaccination 8 days ago. I'm excited, but I still wear a mask. It's right all the time. It's right here. And we're going to stick with protocols at the resort, vaccinated or not, it doesn't matter. We're going to stick with it to the very end and as long as necessary to wrap this season up.
Absolutely. Well, and I think you kind of rolled right into, my next line of questioning, on Thanksgiving, opening day for Big Sky Resort, 2020, no one knew where we'd be in December or January, much less mid-March. How do you feel having been able to weather the pandemic storm so far this season?
Incredibly grateful, a lot of gratitude. I think everybody knows how hard we've worked, how hard the ski organization has worked as we onboarded 1,700 employees from all over the nation and housed them and running restaurants and at limited occupancies, and how hard that has been, not only to do it, but to do it economically, which you can't.
Mhm.
But we did it,
Yeah.
and
No, it's been
and
incredible to watch and witness, and talking to your team on ski patrol and through across the mountain. I know how difficult operating a ski industry can be in
yeah,
a
yeah,
normal year.
yeah, yeah.
And then you stack something like this on it. It's most.
And the summary is it was harder than we thought it was going to be, and the season has worked out much better than we thought it would be.
Mhm.
It started working, and people got confidence in it, and it's gone a lot better than we thought. And
Wow.
even with the destination skiers, there are a whole lot of people flying in from all over the nation
Yeah.
to ski here, and they're having really good experiences. And that, as we get toward the end of the season, is really amping up. And if there are any good things that come out of COVID, and there are,
Mhm.
one of them is air transportation. You know that we've been growing air service into Bozeman. It's been a 20-mile march for 30 years, getting more and more service. We started COVID with 18 nonstop cities
Mhm.
serving Bozeman, which is an unbelievable number. I think we're going to end COVID with 24 or 25 nonstop cities serving Bozeman. You heard that, I think many of you heard that Southwest Airlines has just announced that it's going to start serving Bozeman. And what's going on is business travel is not coming back as quickly as leisure travel is coming back.
Sure.
We can imagine why that is. So airlines are reconfiguring their business structure, and they're dropping flights into business markets, and they're starting to supplement flights into leisure and second home markets like Big Sky and Bozeman. And that might be here forever.
It's interesting. I was just reading about that a few days ago. I believe Delta came out with, they're again, like you said, reconfiguring, their entire approach to their travel industry, which it's just incredible to think about that. But it's a thing. It's happening.
Yeah, yeah. There are going to be some good things that come out of this. Teamwork, community. It it it's We're not through it yet, but I think we've come far enough along to know that we are going to get through it as a community, and there are going to be some good things like that.
I agree. Taylor, I wanted to ask you, more generally, how has the pandemic changed the ski industry, probably for the long term?
That's the question of the year, right? So I'm speculating, right? I'm guessing, but one of the things is capping visitation and limiting peak days with the intent of balancing visitation. In the perfect world, there would be, let's make simple numbers. You would have the same number of people skiing every day all season. You would open with 1,000 a day, and a Saturday would have 1,000 a day, and a Tuesday would have 1,000 a day, and you get it. It'd just be flat, because then you could staff right, and everybody would get a great experience. And so the way we and the industry sold tickets online, essentially all ticket purchasing moved online. The e-commerce toolkit was perfected. I think buying online, managing visitation with yielding. So if somebody wants to come on one of those busy days, they're going to pay a lot more for it. And if someone is willing to come on one of those off days, they're going to get a much better deal. And that tool is probably going to be used more and more.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in the midst of COVID-19, Big Sky Resort was able to make some major strides. Tell us about the eco-friendly initiatives the resort's undertaking.
So I had a problem hearing right there at the end. Did you say talk about eco-friendly?
Yeah, I was talking about some of the eco-friendly initiatives that
Yeah.
the resort's undertaking.
Gosh, Boyne has the Boyne Sustainability Council, and we meet every month. And I just spent an hour and 20 minutes on the phone this morning on a Teams meeting this morning with the sustainability head of the big IT company Intuit. And we are learning ways to become greener. You know that Boyne your audience knows that Boyne has committed to net zero by 2030, and we are well on our way. We've started buying green energy. We're buying offset carbon credits for 100% of our electrical carbon production, not just here in Big Sky, but across all of Boyne. We just implemented that. And we are doubling down on our recycling efforts, and even more, like if you don't produce the junk in the first place, you don't have to recycle it.
Right.
So we're trying to improve our supply chain of using less things that are disposable and more things that can be washed. Our skiers see that in the Vista Hall. Now, COVID threw some curveballs at that because we had to go back to disposables because of germs. But those are just a couple of examples, and we're super psyched about our green initiatives. Thanks for asking.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I think it's fantastic that you are remaining focused on those. Well, we've come a long way this season, Taylor. What's anything on the agenda next season?
Well, let me pick up where we left off. I think when we talked last March or April and some of your subsequent town hall meetings, we were right in the middle of taking out the Swift Current lift and bringing in the new Swift Current 6. I'm happy to report that that was a brilliant call, right? Because we canceled it for many reasons, including we weren't confident that the supply chain could deliver that lift, and inevitably that was true. We got a lot of our concrete in, a lot of our work done, and I was just talking to our Doppelmayr representative in Europe yesterday afternoon. The lift and the machinery is now being put in containers, and yes, they have gotten containers and being loaded on ships, and it's going to be delivered, and our construction crew is ready to go. And as soon as we close on April the 18th this season, we're going to start pushing snow out of the way. We're going to disassemble the Swift Current lift, and when everybody shows up for Thanksgiving 2021, there's going to be a new D-line Swift Current 6 right there, faster than ever, 30% higher capacity, moving people up and out of the base area to the bowl and higher on the mountain in style.
That's going to be fantastic. And I know it was, initially, I'm sure, feeling like a setback, but, I think I could probably speak for a lot of people that say, it's going to be an exciting upgrade for you guys.
Yeah.
Well, Taylor, lastly, you talked about, some good things coming out of COVID. If you could tell the community of Big Sky one thing, what would it be?
Thank you. We've been pulling together as a team. I can't begin to thank everybody. So I can't call them out individually. Thanks to everybody, the airport board, the lift operators, the people who bought seasons passes, the people who purchased products. Thank you so much, because without revenue, nothing else much matters in business. And thank you for supporting us. Yeah, I think it's gratitude season, Joe.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's amazing what you guys have done this season, Taylor. I know how hard you and your whole team have worked, and this community as well. It's something we'll never forget, what we've been through this past year, and really, really appreciate the effort. So thank you. And yeah, Taylor Middleton, thank you for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Joe. Good seeing you.
Likewise. This has been the second installment in a 5-part Big Sky Virtual Town Hall series. So please stay tuned. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. right here on EBS Facebook page, I'll be talking with Taylor Rose of Bozeman Health Big Sky Medical Center about vaccines and how the hospital has handled COVID-19 over the past year. So I'm Joe O'Connor with EBS. Thank you again, Taylor Middleton, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
This series is brought to you by Lone Mountain Land Company, First Security Bank, and the Big Sky Chamber of Commerce.